Turi was bullied by a few other kids who said they were going to hunt slime, magic stones, then threw a slime at him, hitting his face directly. In that world, adventurers mainly had two sources of income: completing quests for rewards and exchanging magic stones for money, which they obtained by defeating monsters. The exchange rate depended on the type of stone. A slime's stone was worth only 1 copper coin. Kahar grabbed Turi's hair, wondering if he had already given up. But Turi, remaining calm, asked if he endured without throwing up, would they give him the stone and keep the reward? Angered, Kahar told him never to say that again or act picky with him, then struck his face with slime once more. He added that it was hard to believe a weakling like Turi could be Neil's brother. Turi thought he lacked any talent as an adventurer and therefore had no choice but to accept everything. One boy said they had scraped together some pocket change and should go back. But before leaving, he struck Turi again and told him to untie himself and use his so-called fancy lifestyle magic. Turi wondered about his share of the stones, since he had taken part in everything. Kahar suddenly shoved a slime into his face, saying it was disgusting, which made Turi vomit. They told him he would get no share now. Turi pleaded with them not to mess with him because he needed money, but Kahar told him to just pawn his brother's precious gear. Neil had been poisoned, each on the verge of death. The others remarked that it was harsh, but if Turi wanted to hate someone, he should hate his own weakness. Bound to a tree, he thought he had to hurry home. Suddenly, he forced a knee-jerk movement that caused a sweat, or something whitish, from his head to fall, and with the spike-like object hidden there, he freed himself. As he left, he reflected that although he had only learned lifestyle magic through housework, that skill had allowed him to join the Adventurers Guild. However, it was useless in combat. His main role was to do chores during camping. Even so, though the work was difficult, he believed he had to keep trying harder than others to support his family. He returned home with a sad face. But as soon as he opened the door, he pretended to be cheerful. His siblings seemed delighted to see him, and the boy said he was starving. Turi told him he would prepare dinner right away and asked them to wait, then inquired about Neil. The girl replied that Neil was doing well and had even read her a book. When Turi brought food, Neil asked about the day's quest. Turi answered that it had been easy. Neil apologized, saying it was his fault Turi had to shoulder all the burden. Turi told him not to apologize, insisting he should eat well and regain his strength. Neil looked frail, almost skeletal from weakness, yet he had once been a skilled adventurer belonging to the Spears of the White Wind Guild. After their parents died in an accident 6 years earlier, he had supported the whole family by himself. However, about 3 years ago, he had encountered a basilisk during a quest and been poisoned. The treatment dragged on. The medicine was extremely costly. Between that and household expenses, all their savings had disappeared. Turi thought that if he became strong enough, he could obtain valuable stones. But Neil looked at him with disappointment. Then he took out a necklace that carried a magic stone. He asked Turi to sell it for money. Turi wondered if it was not the protective charm Neil had once received from a senior adventurer. Neil said it was fine and admitted he should have given it to Turi sooner, urging him to exchange it for cash. Though Turi still hesitated, Neil told him he knew his own body and could no longer return to being an adventurer. Turi felt terrible, realizing Neil was entrusting it to him. The boy eagerly waited for the meal and urged Turi to eat, saying he would stay seated, while Sasha, the girl, said she wanted to feed Neil as well. Neil thanked them both, and they did as he asked. Turi thought he had to be the one to work hard, otherwise he wouldn't be able to protect his family. The next day, while washing his face after being hit with slime, he reflected that quest rewards were not enough to cover expenses. That was why he decided to hunt Valai alone, to collect magic stones. Yet even after spending the whole day running around, he couldn't defeat more than 10 slimes, which were barely worth 10 copper coins. He knew he desperately needed much more money. At that time, a girl named Mina asked if the Adohine River was in that direction. Turi was delighted to see her and called her by name. She wondered how he knew her. He explained that he belonged to the same guild, Azure Flame Wings, and handled camp duties. He thought that as the newly scouted long-range captain, there was no way she would know a small fry like him. He then pointed out the way to the river, but warned her there was a swamp along the path, so she might prefer to take a detour. She thanked him, and Turi felt unexpectedly relaxed, glad he had spoken with her. Suddenly, Kahar arrived and called out to Mina. She greeted him as her senior. Kahar asked why why the long-range captain was working on her day off, then invited her to have drinks with him. When she declined, saying she had work to do, he insisted she should, at least, let him treat her. Turi thought Kahar seemed casual, but still a good senior, though Mina appeared troubled. At that moment, Turi noticed a weakened slime nearby. Without thinking, he threw it toward Kahar, warning him to watch out, then cut it with his sword. The slime splattered across Kahar's face. Turi was bewildered, unsure if he had really done such a thing. Kahar, angered, asked if this was payback for the other day. Frightened, Turi ran, with Kahar chasing after him, demanding he come back. Mina simply remarked that Turi was a strange person. Turi realized he hadn't intended for things to escalate so far. As he fled, he felt he was getting lost in the forest. Suddenly, the ground beneath him collapsed, and he fell into an unknown place. Surrounded by countless human skulls, he wondered if it was a dragon's nest or something else. Since he hadn't known such a place existed deep in the forest, he thought Kahar would not be able to chase him there, but he still needed to find a way out. Then, he suddenly noticed a book lying nearby. Believing it might be valuable, he wondered what kind of book it was. He tried to open the book, but it was stuck, and he wondered if it had been sealed with glue or something similar. The book felt strange in his hands, which only increased his curiosity about what was written inside. Yet if it refused to open, he knew he would never be able to read it. Suddenly, the magic stone locket touched the book, and it began glowing red, leaving him in shock. After the flash of light, the book opened, and Turi saw a figure with a mustache inside it, asking if he could hear him. Shocked that the book was speaking, Turi threw it away. The voice from the book explained that since Turi had been able to open it, it meant he was a strong adventurer, and told him to call him Haij. Turi wondered what kind of book it was, since he had never seen one that could talk. Haij went on to say that an adventurer who opened the book had the chance to gain a real magic stone. Turi questioned this, but Haij clarified the real ones were called magic stone crystals. He told Turi that if he wanted to obtain one, he had to faithfully follow the instructions written inside. A single crystal, Haij added, was worth 100 times more than a normal magic stone. Hearing this, Turi was stunned. If what the book said was true, he thought he might finally be able to afford proper treatment for his brother. Yet he hesitated, wondering if he could really believe such words. And what if the book itself was actually some kind of new monster? Haij urged him to begin with Chapter 1, where he would explain how to obtain a slime's magic stone crystal. The crucial point, Haij said, was that Turi must not try to kill the slime. Turi was confused, but Haij explained further. Slimes were extremely sensitive to killing intent. Whenever they sensed it, they grew excited, and the magic stone within them was consumed. To obtain a crystal, Turi had to prevent the slime from detecting any killing intent. Though Turi said he understood, he was still bewildered since he had never heard of such a theory. Haij then added that he would explain a little about slime ecology. He said slimes were monsters that attached themselves to a person's face, suffocated them, and then consumed them. Their attacks were simple and not very threatening, but in groups, they could become dangerous. That, Haij said, was exactly what they would take advantage of. Turi wondered how that could be possible. Haij answered that he would teach him 3 simple steps to obtain a slime's magic stone crystal. After a while, Turi threw the book aside in anger, wondering who would ever do something so reckless. He couldn't believe he had let himself get swayed by such a strange book, and thought the so-called magic stone crystals might just be nonsense. Deciding he needed to find a way out of the cave first, he grabbed his sword. Suddenly, a slime struck his leg, and a whole swarm rushed at him. He began fighting back, thinking that if he didn't make it home, no one would prepare dinner for his siblings, earn money for his brother's treatment, or protect his family. But the slimes overwhelmed him, binding his body so he could barely move. At that rate, he knew he would be swallowed whole. Desperate, his eyes fell on the book. He touched it and asked for the 3 steps again. The voice, calling itself Haij, remarked that it seemed Turi had finally made up his mind. Haij explained that the first step in obtaining a slime's magic stone crystal was to let himself be eaten by a slime. Turi was shocked, realizing he was already being swallowed, but Haij praised him, saying it was impressive that he had already begun practicing it. Turi, panicked, demanded the next step. Haij reminded him of the earlier lesson. Slimes were sensitive to killing intent. If they sensed it, they consumed their magic stones. To prevent that, Turi had to discard his sword. Conflicted, Turi thought that if he didn't resist, he might die, but if he wanted to survive, he had no choice but to trust Hyge. He threw his sword away, and as the slime engulfed him, he tried to steady his breathing. Hyge told him he was doing well, that he should stay calm, relax, and let the slime act as it pleased. Then Hyge explained the second step. To obtain the crystal, Turi had to devour the slime. Slimes were creatures defined by their instinct to devour others, and they would never expect to be consumed themselves. Turi realized what that meant, but before he could act, Hyge clarified that devouring was only a figure of speech. All Turi had to do was deploy a storage item around his face, where the slimes gathered. Turi tried to do as instructed, but soon realized he couldn't breathe and felt like he was dying. Hyge sighed, saying it was unfortunate, that this too wasn't the real attempt, and that Turi's dream would have to wait for another era. But at that moment, Turi raised his voice and shouted, "Storage!" A skill activated. Hyge, surprised, asked if that was the storage skill, a lifestyle spell usually considered useless in combat. Fascinated, he remarked that Turi had found a clever way to use it. Turi finally broke free from the swarm's grasp and declared that he couldn't die there because his family was waiting for him at home and he would survive no matter what. Hyge laughed, saying that was the strength born from conviction. Turi then asked about the third step as more slimes approached. He declared that if it meant survival, he would do whatever it took. Hyge finally revealed the last step: to run away. Turi was stunned. Hyge explained that any slime not properly stored would become overexcited, which made it dangerous and also caused its magic stone to shrink. That was why unnecessary fighting had to be avoided. Turi began running with Hyge in his arms, declaring that he would escape with everything he had. Somehow he managed to get out of the cave alive, and he realized it was thanks to Hyge that he had been saved. Suddenly, Hyge disappeared, leaving Turi confused about what was happening. A moment later, Hyge reappeared, saying he would now explain the final step, how to claim the stored magic stone. Startled, Turi listened as Hyge explained that slimes could not maintain their internal water balance when exposed to the open air. Once stored, they would transform into a magic stone within 5 minutes, and by now, a magic stone crystal should already have been formed. Turi said he would trust him, but asked that no slime suddenly pop back out and attack him. Then he activated his storage skill to release what was inside. A huge crystal appeared in Turi's hand, and Hyge mentioned that it explained how to obtain the slime's magic stone crystal in just 3 steps. Turi was shocked, wondering if it was really a magic stone. He thought that even one was worth 100 copper coins, and with just 2, it would already be more than enough for his monthly wage. He then wondered what might be written on the next page of the book. When he tried to open it, the page would not turn, so he asked Hyge why it wasn't opening. Hyge replied that he would look forward to the day they both met again, said goodbye, and disappeared once more. Turi thought he wanted him to wait, as there were still many things he wished to ask. But the book remained silent. He called it a selfish book, noticing that the pages he had already opened were fine, but the next one still refused to open. He didn't understand why, but he acknowledged that it was thanks to the book that he had managed to obtain such a huge magic stone. He thought that if he sold it, he could buy not only medicines, but also clothes for Liam and Sasha. And he wished to enjoy a full meal for once. Looking at the time, he realized the exchange shop was already closed. So he put the stone into storage and decided to take it to the shop the next day. He thought everyone would be shocked when they saw the magic stone. Though it was a bit early, he decided to head home, feeling that things would truly turn great. He couldn't even remember the last time he had felt so happy. When he arrived home, he found Sasha and Liam outside. He went over to them and both looked happy to welcome him. Turi asked if they had been practicing magic, and Liam agreed, saying they wanted to be able to use magic like him. Turi reflected on that. Then Sasha asked what he had done that day. After thinking for a moment, Turi replied that he had fought with some slimes and done some reading. They wondered if he had gone slime hunting, but he thought to himself that he would never tell them he had nearly died while being chased by Kahar. Liam remarked that it was rare for Turi to be reading, so Turi took out the book and said that was what he had been reading. The two looked confused, since even though he claimed to be holding the book, they were unable to see it, and wondered if he was joking. hiding. Turi, puzzled, questioned whether he was the only one who could see the book. Sasha then asked if she could show her magic. She picked up a stick, waved it in the air, and tried using ignite on the firewood nearby, attempting to light it. However, it didn't work, and she explained that it had worked earlier. Turi wondered if they wanted him to demonstrate how it should be done. Pointing his finger forward, he used ignite and easily set the sticks ablaze. Liam commented that, as expected, Turi was truly the best when it came to lifestyle magic. Turi apologized, admitting that lifestyle magic was the only thing he was good at. Then he asked if they wanted to see something incredible he could do with that same household magic. He looked around carefully, making sure no thieves were nearby. Once he was certain the area was clear, he used his storage ability to take something out. The light that burst forth was so bright that people from a distance noticed it. Sasha wondered if that was the gem Turi had shown them before, while Liam questioned where he had even found something like that. Turi wondered if they were surprised and asked what they thought of it. Soon after, a few people from the surroundings approached, asking if they could join in. Turi grew nervous, wondering where they had all been hiding. He noticed Kahar wasn't among them. But then, a fat man demanded whether Turi was even listening and accused him of stealing it, asking where he had gotten something like that. Another man added that Turi shouldn't be called a thief just because of someone's assumptions. Turi quickly explained that he had found it in the forest. The fat man scoffed, saying that if such a large gem had really been lying in the forest, they would have discovered it long ago. He warned Turi that lying wasn't good for him and demanded a proper look so they could check it for themselves. Turi insisted that it wasn't anything special. But when the man stepped forward to take it, Turi was terrified. He thought the day was supposed to be a good one, yet it was turning worse by the minute. At that moment, Sasha pulled him back. Turi decided that, since it had been a good day until then, he would not let it be ruined. He quickly used his storage magic and put the stone away again. The man was shocked, wondering if Turi hadn't heard what he was saying. Turi thought about how he had nearly died to obtain the gem and decided that was exactly why he would never hand it over. At that moment, he realized his sword was gone. He had thrown it away earlier when fighting the slimes. Despite that, he wasn't worried. He told Sasha and Liam that they needed to run, then used extinguish on the fire to clear their escape. The man rushed at him, using acceleration, and in the chaos, the book slipped from Turi's hand. He struck at Turi again, mocking him, telling him he should try hiding in the darkness, calling his efforts nothing more than monkey-level cunning. As Liam cried out to him, Turi told them not to worry. He asked them to go home ahead, insisting he would be fine. The man punched him, sneering, saying Turi was acting tough while being weak. Turi retaliated, unleashing a burst of light so bright that the man was forced to shut his eyes. Seeing the chance, Turi tried to run, but another attacker appeared. Using entwining veins, he summoned roots that bound Sasha and Liam. Turi panicked at the sight. The second boy smirked, saying the scene was thrilling, delightfully dark. He mocked Turi for lighting everything up, claiming it was like begging them to capture him. Turi called out, telling Sasha and Liam not to worry, promising to save them. The boy told him it was the wrong move and ordered him to stop. Roots tightened around Sasha's face, and Turi shouted for him to let her go. The boy replied that it depended on Turi's decision. If he didn't hand over the gem soon, Sasha's pretty face would be scarred. Turi desperately told him to stop, but the boy launched a water spear at him. Turi tried to counter with his own power, but it was nothing against the attack. He was struck down, crashing to the ground. Gathering strength, he cast Ignite at the boy, but the boy immediately smothered it with rainfall, mocking him again, asking what he was even trying to do. He ridiculed him, saying, "Lifestyle magic could never help in a real fight." A third man joined in, beating Turi, saying even little kids could use lifestyle magic that it was pathetic. The second boy warned him not to pick fights if that was all he had. The fat man complained that Turi would now have to pay for the damage done to his eye. The third added that they would need javelins, and together, all three started kicking Turi, demanding he hand the gem over. Turi felt helpless, realizing he couldn't win. Looking at his siblings, he thought that a good day like this would never come to him again. With no choice left, he released the gem from his storage. The crystal fell near the book, and suddenly, high Haig appeared once again. He told Turi it was time to move to Chapter 2, which would teach him the combat methods using magic crystals. Turi wondered if the next page of the book had finally opened. Haig explained that the first step in combat was to cast magic directly at a magic crystal. He asked whether Turi, at least, knew what happened when compressed magical power collided with a different type of magic. The fat man reached for the crystal, marveling at how valuable it must be, saying it would sell for a high price. Turi noticed that just like before, they couldn't see the book. What mattered more, though, was the warning that compressed magical power inside a crystal was terrifying. Haig urged Turi that there was no time to hesitate. He asked if Turi truly wanted to change the situation. Turi agreed, and upon learning that the first step was to unleash magic at the crystal, he immediately cast Ignite on it. The magic began to be absorbed into the crystal, and the man glared at Turi, wondering what he was even doing. Hai explained that when Turi poured external magic into compressed mana, the mana inside the crystal amplified and burst forth. The magic stone began glowing intensely. The onlookers were shocked, wondering what Turi had just done. Hai continued, saying Turi's own magic was insufficient, but the magic stone crystal contained an enormous amount of compressed mana. He reminded Turi to remember this well, that the magic stone was not simply a stone taken from monsters, but rather a vessel filled with mana itself. The man was caught in the fire released from the crystal's power. Turi was astonished at its overwhelming strength. Haij remarked that this was still nothing and that 2 more steps remained. Meanwhile, the other 2 rushed to help their companion, trying to extinguish the flames, anxiously asking if he was all right. His face had been badly burned. The sight enraged them. They furiously wondered what Turi had just unleashed. Turi was injured, but determined to save Sasha and Liam first. Hai told him to hold on and explained that the next step was to make the enemy touch the magic stone crystal. Turi was confused by those words. Haiji clarified the crystal now contained his magic, making him the rightful owner of it. Turi wondered if he was truly its owner. Haij urged him to let the enemies touch it. When one of them moved to pick up the stone, Haig warned that if anyone other than the owner touched it, the stone would retaliate, burn them, and treat them as enemies. He added that the spell Turi had cast earlier would work as a defensive mechanism. Turi was shocked to learn this was the power of the crystal. Hai continued, the crystal recognized whoever imbued it with their mana as its owner. But if someone else poured a stronger spell into it, the ownership would be overwritten. That meant if Turi's opponents used magic stronger than his, they would take possession of the crystal. Therefore, the next priority was not rescuing the hostages, but reclaiming the stone. Turi wondered if Haije really wanted him to put Sasha and Liam second, thinking it was easy for him to say, since it wasn't his problem. Looking at them, he resolved that he would not let them remain in fear any longer. He wondered what Neil would do if he were there. Meanwhile, another man stared at the crystal, wondering if it was enchanted to burst into flames upon touch. Not knowing what would happen, he thought he would gamble everything and destroy it with his power. As he tried, Haij warned Turi it was not a good move. The ownership would then be transferred to the opponent, and once that happened, everything would be over. He remarked that Turi still did not know how to fight properly, that what he needed most was composure, to calmly assess the battlefield, unless he could make his opponent taste defeat. Turi picked up the stone before the battle and prepared to use its power. Haig wondered if Turi intended to rush to save the 2 instead. Turi picked up the book, thinking of what Neil would do, remembering how he had always stayed calm, never lowering his weapon until the enemy left, always keeping them in his sight. Since Haig was the one who had saved his life, Turi decided to trust him, to follow his words without hesitation, to believe in him completely. Haij appreciated his resolve and moved on to explain the 3rd step. The boy prepared to attack, thinking Turi should not underestimate him, questioning why only Turi was allowed to touch the crystal. He suspected that Turi already acted as though he had won, but insisted he was wrong. He then used his power against Sasha and Liam, which made Turi worry about them. Haig instructed him to imagine the monster from which the crystal had dropped. When Turi pictured the monster, he suddenly saw a slime appear. Haig noted that it was not bad at all. He explained that the crystal allowed its wielder to use the magic of the monster it came from, which meant Turi could now use slime magic. When the man attacked with entwining vines again, Turi used the slime's power to cut through the branches. Sasha and Liam were shocked to see what Turi had used. Turi wondered if it was truly the magic of the slime, realizing that the technique had manifested exactly as he had imagined. The boy was astonished by that magic, questioning what Turi was doing, doubting whether he was really that weak. When the boy attacked again, Turi blocked it once more with the slime's power, and thought that he no longer had any reason to be afraid. Hai declared that this was the finale, and Turi finally understood the proper way to use the magic stone crystal. He had to claim ownership. And then imagine, if he were to obtain a dragon's magic stone crystal, he could wield dragon magic himself. That was the true power of the crystal. Hai even asked whether such a thought didn't make his heart race with excitement. Turi agreed, admitting he truly felt thrilled. He then told the boy to consider this as payback for what had happened before, and launched another attack using the slime's power. That attack struck the boy, and at last, all three enemies were defeated. Turi was overjoyed. He had managed it with the power of the magic stone crystal and the book. He had truly won. Sasha and Leon were freed, and Sasha immediately hugged him. Turi worried if she was hurt, but she assured him that he had done amazingly, that he was strong and cool. Turi smiled, apologizing for the small scratch she had received, but she replied that it didn't hurt at all. Leon then asked about the magic Turi had used, noting that it was nothing like his usual lifestyle spells. Turi hesitated, unsure of what to say, especially since it seemed no one else could even see the book. He explained instead that he had met an old man in a cave who had taught him everything. Leon considered who that old man might have been, but Turi brushed it off as dumb luck. He decided it was better to keep the truth secret, not wanting to drag Sasha and Leon into something strange. What mattered most to him was keeping his home safe. He then urged them to head back, saying that whoever arrived last would have to wash the dishes. Sasha chased after him, protesting that it was unfair. Turi stopped and reminded them not to tell Neil about what had happened, explaining that Neil had already told them not to fight. To keep him from worrying, he asked that it remain a secret between the three of them. They agreed, and the group returned home. On the way, Sasha remarked again on how amazing Turi's magic had been, but he quickly hushed her when he saw Neil awake. Turi wondered why Neil wasn't resting, but Neil explained that since they were late, he had been about to check on them. Turi, shocked, apologized, saying that a lot had happened. Neil noticed their injuries and remarked that the Magic Stone gathering had been particularly harsh that day. Turi agreed. Then Neil touched Turi's face, saying that he was always carrying the burden for them and promised that as soon as he could move properly, he would help. Suddenly, Neil lost his balance, and Sasha and Leon rushed to support him. Turi immediately shouted that it was as he feared, insisting Neil return to bed. The two helped carry Neil back, and after putting him to rest, they all fell asleep. Turi, however, lay awake, thinking that he truly could not tell Neil the truth. It would only make him worry too much. That day had been extraordinary, and now he knew that magic stones possessed such powers. He took out the book, thinking it was all thanks to Hyge, but wondered why the pages would not turn anymore. He remembered that the first time they had opened was when his magic stone necklace had touched it. Now he had not touched the stone with the book, but suddenly Hyge appeared, startling him so much that he screamed, thankfully without waking the others. Speaking in a low voice, Turi scolded him for popping up so suddenly. Hyge calmly replied that he had only come to add a small supplementary note, and that Turi had no need to fear death. At that moment, someone else stirred and asked what was wrong. Turi quickly replied that he only wanted to step outside, then left the room. Once outside, he demanded that Hyge stop appearing without warning since he could not explain the situation to anyone. Hyge reminded him that he had already said no one except Turi could see or hear him. Turi agreed, saying that he had his own circumstances as well. Hyge told him to handle them himself, reminding him that he could not rely on Hyge for everything. He explained that from then on, Turi would likely come across many more magic stone crystals, and for that, he would need funds. Without money, there could be no adventure. Turi wondered if Hyge was suggesting that he sell the old stones. At first, it seemed worthwhile, but he realized that if they sold them, they would no longer be able to use the slimes. He had already mentioned that if it was only those kinds of magic stones, Turi could obtain them anytime, and that Turi was stronger than he had been the previous day. After that, he wished him good night and disappeared. Turi tried to stop him, saying he still had many questions, but the figure vanished. Turi admitted he did not know why Hyde was telling him all that, since he did not need the money, and guessed he would try bringing a stone to the exchange the next day. The following day, Turi disguised himself heavily, thinking that no one would be able to recognize him, and went to the exchange counter, pretending to be an old man. People around wondered about the strange old man who came in, carrying stones he claimed to have saved for retirement. Turi thought of himself only as a supply man at the camp, and believed that if he showed up with magic stone crystals, people would inevitably grow suspicious. One man speculated whether the old man had come to scrape together nursing money, while a woman bet that he only had some moldy old stones. However, when Turi placed a massive magic crystal on the counter, everyone was stunned. Turi wondered whether they were truly talking about the stones, or if their eyes saw something different, as they had called them moldy. The lady at the counter was so shocked that she rushed to call the manager, reporting the stone. Others were equally astonished, speculating whether the old man was a famous adventurer, since they had never seen such a large crystal before. Turi thought that once someone was underestimated, nothing would sell, and bluffing was the only way to survive in a pawn shop. He exchanged the stone and left, receiving a gold coin that shocked him, as he believed he had never touched one before. Just as Hyde had told him it was worth 100 times more than a slime stone. He realized he could finally cover not only the week's treatment costs, but even the entire month's, and he could also buy Sasha some clothes and shoes for Liam. He decided to have a feast that night. Suddenly, Kahar appeared and punched him, wondering since when Turi had possessed a gold coin. Turi seemed truly frightened to see him. Turi thought he had finally managed to get his hands on the gold coin. But when he looked at the other three, who were completely injured, he realized they had finally found him. Suddenly, the coin in his hand vanished. Kahar also wondered where it had gone. They then noticed someone standing nearby, his face hidden under an overcoat. The man apologized, saying he was taking the spoils, and ran off, calling them careless people. Shocked, both Turi and Kahar shouted at him to give it back. After some time, Turi hid his disappointment, thinking that the stranger had ultimately taken it away. He wondered who that man was, realizing he was broke once again. Taking out the book, he questioned why it had not helped him, but the book gave no reply. He reflected that he had left home promising there would be a feast that day, and now the others would be disappointed. When he returned, he overheard his brothers urging Neil to pull himself together. Alarmed, Turi rushed to check and found that Neil's condition was worsening. He told the others he would go to call the doctor and ask them to take care of Neil in the meantime. As he hurried away, he thought Neil must have been poisoned by a monster and feared he did not have much longer. Although Neil had recently been stable, Turi realized the poison was still eating away at him. He wished Neil could endure a little longer and not leave him behind yet. At the clinic, Turi saw the same man who had stolen his coin speaking with the doctor. The man said that if the doctor needed any ingredients for the medicine, he would personally go to fetch them. The doctor agreed. Turi realized the thief was the same person who had taken his coin earlier. When he noticed the gold coin in the man's hand, he tried to grab it back, but the man pulled it away, asking what Turi was even talking about. The doctor intervened, asking Turi to calm down and wondering what was wrong. Ignoring the coin, Turi urgently explained that his brother Neil was gravely ill and in serious danger. The doctor admitted that the situation was bad, but hesitated. Turi insisted that he would pay later and begged for the medicine. The doctor explained it was not a matter of money. The treatment required a dryad seed, but they were out of stock. Recently, shipments from the outside city had stopped, and without it, the medicine could not be prepared. Turi was shocked and asked if that meant they would fail to make it in time. The doctor replied that he could check on Neil, but without the medicine, things looked grim. At that moment, the stranger declared that he would go himself to find the required materials, since his brother's life depended on it. The doctor said he would not let him go alone. He explained that he had already put out a quest request to the guild, but it required 10 people, so he should consider that. He added that he knew where the ingredients could be found. The doctor admitted that people claimed they could be located beneath the Great Mother Tree in the forest of Grurma, though it was a dangerous place where monsters often appeared. Turi shouted that he would go there, but the doctor refused, saying he could not take responsibility for that. Turi replied that it was fine, as he would return alive. The doctor insisted he could not believe such words. Just then, the boy said he would be the one to go, explaining that he had been to the forest of Grurma a few times before. He introduced himself as Clegg. Turi also introduced himself and added that once everything was over, he would be taking back that gold coin. He then asked if it was acceptable for both of them to go. The doctor still disapproved, but finally agreed, saying that if they wished, they could go. He added that he would keep an eye on Neil's condition and instructed them to simply report to the guild without doing anything reckless. Turi thanked him, and the two of them left in a rush. The doctor wished them to be careful, warning that there were even rumors of a monster in that forest which devoured adventurers. When Turi and Clegg entered the forest, Turi remarked that it was truly deep. Clegg leapt onto a tree and explained that the Great Mother Tree was located at the very heart of the forest. He asked Turi whether he was already worn out. Turi replied that he was not tired at all, but Clegg reminded him that he owed him no cooperation. He warned that if Turi could not keep up, he would leave him behind. Clegg jumped ahead, which greatly annoyed Turi. He then recalled Clegg's words where he had mentioned that his brother's life also depended on it. Turi wondered if Clegg too had someone sick in his family. Turi thought that perhaps in that way they were not so different. Just then, he heard Clegg say that they had arrived. They finally stood before the Great Mother Tree. Turi remarked in awe that it was amazing, admitting he had never seen a tree so large before. Clegg then pointed toward a dried, withered seed. Turi rushed to grab it, saying it was great that they had found it more easily than expected, and urging that they hurry to make the medicine from it. Clegg stopped him, leaving Turi confused as to why he was being held back. Clegg warned him, though Turi did not understand what he meant. Suddenly, a flower monster emerged beneath Turi and began to swallow him. Clegg explained that it was a monster known for devouring both humans and other creatures, a constantly growing beast. He added that to think such a creature would appear in this place was alarming, and it meant they would not be able to take the dried seed so easily. Its digestion of whatever it swallowed was instant, and once consumed, escaping from within was nearly impossible. Meanwhile, Turi was trapped inside, realizing in shock that he had been eaten in an instant and that his journey had put him in grave danger. He noticed some strange liquid burning through his shoes, which horrified him, and before he could react, he was pulled in even deeper. Despite struggling desperately to escape, he slipped further inside and found himself surrounded by the liquid. The searing sensation made him fear that he would melt away and vanish completely if it continued for long. Turi suddenly realized that his leg was resting on a magic stone crystal. The discovery filled him with excitement, and he wondered why such a stone existed in that place. He quickly pulled out the book to summon Hyge, but his hand slipped and the book floated away. In the process, he accidentally touched the magic stone. At that moment, the surrounding liquid dissolved, and the suffocating environment disappeared. Confused, Turi wondered what had happened. Hyge appeared and explained that it was troublesome, but Turi was lucky that a magic stone crystal had happened to be inside the plunder's stomach. He revealed that it was the very magic stone crystal once belonging to the rock bird, which absorbed water through plunder. Turi understood, and Hyge then asked if he hadn't realized yet. He told Turi to summon him through the purple mark, reminding him that he had been designed to respond to a large amount of magic. If Turi held the magic stone crystal, he would be able to answer the call. Turi replied that Hyge should have explained that first. Hyge apologized, saying the situation was as troublesome as usual, and joking that it was a magnificent welcome. He added that they would now begin the next stage, where Turi would have to learn how to obtain the plunder's magic stone crystal. Outside, Clegg was still battling the monster. He muttered that it should have been digesting more slowly, but there was no sign of delay. He wondered if it had digested quickly because its prey was small, realizing it fed far too fast. Without the dryad seed, he thought, his brother's life would not be saved. Regretfully, he said the seed now had to be reduced to ashes. He leapt back and prepared his arsenal. First, he gathered various chemicals and combined the flames of magic stone powder, fire powder, slime, magic stone powder, and bomb turtle. He fused them into an explosive mixture and struck at the monster, setting it ablaze, but the creature rubbed its body against the ground, seemingly extinguishing the flames deliberately. It retaliated against Clegg, who realized from its movements that it possessed a degree of intelligence, making it a far more advanced individual than most of its kind. In response, Clegg mixed horned rabbit, magic stone powder with rockbird powder, using the combination as a flying potion to propel himself into the sky and dodge the monster's attacks. He analyzed that it had no teeth, and that its stem could not detach from its root. Though it had grown significantly, its biological structure was still the same as a standard type. Suddenly, the monster appeared behind him and struck the ground, nearly capturing him. Clegg prepared himself, but before it could crush him, the monster began struggling violently. Seizing the chance, Clegg used Purple Panther, Magic Stone Powder with Gold Pool, Magic Stone Powder. Granting himself acceleration, he darted around the creature, forcing it to twist and entangle itself. He then muttered that despite its intelligence, its mind was no greater than that of a toddler, and he would destroy its nerves from the outside. Taking out Poison Bead Moth Powder and Acid Bee Magic Stone Powder, he combined them into a powerful solvent and unleashed the attack. But the monster's body was tougher than expected, and it fought to resist, halting its movements. Just as Clegg thought he had restrained it perfectly, the monster was suddenly torn apart. Several of its pieces fell in front of him, leaving him confused. From the shadows, Turi emerged with the magic stone crystal in hand. He exclaimed that it had been far too close, as he had nearly been digested alive, and swore never to be eaten by a monster again. Embarrassed, he covered himself, realizing he had no clothes left on his body. Clegg, staring at him, asked if the stone he held was truly the plunder's magic stone of the beast, and what exactly Turi had done inside its stomach. Turi seemed a bit worried and thought he had to answer carefully, otherwise Clegg might force the truth out of him. He mentioned that the more important thing was that they had to take the dryad seed, and since Clegg was going to save his little brother as well, they should grab it quickly. Turi picked one, while thinking that his brother would now be saved. After the medicine was prepared from it, the doctor made Neil drink it, and remarked that they would have to wait and see how things went. The rest depended on Neil's stamina, but it should be fine. Turi felt so thankful that Neil was safe. After some time, he gave a pouch of money to Clegg, saying it was for the medicine for his little brother, and explained that was all they could prepare for now, so he should return later for the rest. Clegg just looked at him. Turi assured him that he would wash and return the frogs he had borrowed, so Clegg didn't need to charge him, and they split the quest reward equally. Clegg again asked what Turi had done inside the Eats Plunder. Turi thought that he had already known such a question would come, and considered hiding the truth. Clegg explained that in the third chapter he would need to learn how to obtain the magic stone crystal of Eat Plunder, and that first he had to be eaten. Turi admitted that he wanted to survive, and hesitated to attempt such a thing. Haiji told him he would save him, and said the first step had already been accomplished. He was impressed that Turi's sense was always on point, and reminded him that it was now a short-term battle, so he shouldn't waste time. If he delayed too long, he might melt to death, so he had to be ready. Turi declared that he had come to save his brother, and even if he risked his life, he would not die. Haij wondered if Turi actually wanted to die. Turi, confused, replied that he had not said anything like that. Haij then explained the second step was to scatter a large amount of ash. Turi pointed out that there was nothing around except bones. Haiji warned that if they didn't hurry, they would die. Turi agreed, and then he saw the acid flowing again, burning the bones. Suddenly, he noticed some tree logs had fallen inside, and remembered that Clegg must be fighting with the monster. He realized that if they burned the incoming wood, they could make the ash. Turi decided to proceed and used Ignite Magic several times, but Haiji said it was still not enough. Turi then took off his jacket, which was already melting, and removed all his clothes, burning them as well. Haiji remarked that it was a smart move, and explained that the third step was to create wind. Turi used dry magic to generate wind, but Haij wondered if that even counted as wind magic, since lifestyle magic didn't have enough force. Turi questioned whether he could use offensive magic instead. Haiji replied that there was a rockbird magic stone crystal nearby, and if it truly was a rockbird's crystal, Turi would probably have seen it as well. That stone allowed them to use flapping magic. Turi thought that since the equipment, slime magic, had appeared, if they used the crystal, he could activate the flapping magic with it. He then took the stone and used it, creating wind around them. Haige praised him, saying he was getting the hang of using magic stones. Turi mentioned that they had scattered the ash and asked what they should do next. Haige explained that the process was complete. The space had been acidic due to stomach acid, but by scattering a large amount of ash, it had been rapidly neutralized, and eventually, the internal balance had flipped all at once. At that moment, outside, Clegg was lying on the ground, defeated. Haiji told Turi that the pain must be excruciating, and that when it neared death, the creature's magic stone crystal would appear somewhere inside the stomach. After a while, Turi indeed found a green crystal. Turi was happy to find the crystal, but Haig told him that once it was taken, the eat plunder would eventually wither, so he should escape while he still could. Since the stomach acid was still surging, Haiji advised him to put his clothes back on. Turi replied that he had already burned all of them. When the acid began to rise again, Haiji warned that the creature was going berserk, and that escaping at that rate would be difficult. Turi declared that he could not die in a place like that, and insisted they needed to protect themselves from the acid, even if it meant reducing themselves to bones. Haiji cautioned that even bones would eventually melt. Shocked, Turi asked him not to say such frightening things. He then realized that the stomach itself hadn't dissolved yet. With that thought, he bit into the monster's skin, tore out a piece, and wrapped it around his body to climb upward and escape. He knew the method was reckless, but they had no time to wait inside until the creature withered. If they delayed, his brother would not be saved. After a while, the monster stopped moving. Haij mentioned that some kind of external pressure was slowing the movements of Eat's plunder. Turi found it unbearably tough, struggling to move, but still holding on. He stopped talking then, thinking he didn't know how to explain matters of hygiene to Clegg, as he couldn't come up with a clever remark. Still, he thought that without Clegg, they would not have made it, so he thanked him. Clegg turned to leave without asking anything more, and Turi guessed he would not press the question again. At a distance, Clegg paused and looked at the medicine he had received from Turi, thinking that, if he remembered correctly, Turi had not expected thanks in return. Meanwhile, many people had arrived to eat plunder during the subjugation quest, but it had already been defeated, and its stomach was empty. Kahar wondered how it was already over, and asked Nina what they should do, whether they ought to go home, and if the two of them should spend time together instead. Nina inspected the Eat's plunder and remarked that it was completely withered, which meant the magic stone had already been collected. She then noticed a scrap of cloth nearby, which turned out to be Turi's underwear. Recognizing it, she recalled he was from their guild, and began to wonder if Turi had been the one who actually subjugated the Eat's plunder. At night, Turi sat in his room and took out 2 crystal stones from his storage, looking excited as he realized he had obtained 2 magic stones, the Eat plunders and a rockbird magic crystal. He remembered once joining a guild hunt for the rockbird but being unable to do anything against it, and now he wondered how much these crystals were worth. The problem was figuring out how to exchange them, since last time Kahar and the others had discovered it. He thought it would be nice if he could get them appraised at home, but if not, Neil might start asking where the stones had come from. Perhaps if he mentioned Hyde, Neil might even believe that Turi had learned some incredible magic. That way, he could finally get proper treatment for his brother, and he wouldn't have to worry about Sasha and Liam, as he could manage everything on his own. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Turi wondered who it could be at this hour, and when he opened it, he saw Clegg standing there. Surprised, he questioned why Clegg had come in the middle of the night. Clegg tossed him a gold coin, and Turi hurried to catch it. Clegg explained that it was the coin he had been holding for Turi, and his little brother had told him to return it. As Clegg turned to leave, Turi remarked that his younger brother was kind, unlike him. Clegg replied that regardless, he was just returning what belonged to Turi. Turi stopped him and offered to return the clothes he had borrowed. Clegg agreed, stepping into the house. Turi invited him to, at least, have some tea, asking him to keep quiet since his siblings were asleep. Clegg was startled when he saw the halo of the spears of white rend above where Neil was lying. Meanwhile, Turi searched for the clothes and asked how Clegg's younger brother was doing. Clegg answered that the medicine had worked and he had recovered safely. Then he asked about Turi's older brother. Turi said it was good to hear that Clegg's brother had recovered, reassured and explained that Neil's symptoms had also settled down. Though Neil still needed to stay in bed for some time, the doctor had said it was no problem for him to sit up now. Clegg, however, observed Neil's sunken eyes, the hair loss caused by the medicine's side effects, his reduced muscle mass, and the weakened sound of his breathing from already damaged lungs. He concluded that it was as he thought. It was basilisk poison. Turi agreed and asked if Clegg could explain more. Clegg revealed that he was a healer and knew about the poison. Turi expressed his amazement. Clegg went on, saying the poison came from a vicious monster. Turi explained that while the medicine was helping, full recovery seemed unlikely. Clegg then revealed that if they had a basilisk magic stone, recovery might be possible. Turi was stunned, wondering what Clegg meant. Clegg quickly dismissed it, saying it was not something so easily done, and tapped the cloths while reminding him that the basilisk was a calamity-class monster. Turi, however, thought that there was a chance his brother could be cured if they obtained the basilisk magic stone. He asked Clegg to wait and explain further, but by then, Clegg had already left. Turi sat down, thinking that perhaps it really could be done. With Haiji by his side, he noticed that he was now able to read more pages and discovered that if he held up a magic stone crystal, new pages would appear. He turned to one of the open pages and noticed faint outlines of crystals printed there, including the two he already possessed. He realized it might be a magic stone crystal encyclopedia with detailed descriptions and listed prices. Haiji appeared, telling him that he had finally noticed. Startled, Turi threw the book away again and hit his head against the wall, telling Haig not to pop up out of nowhere. Haig mentioned that when Turi obtained the magic stone crystal, it was automatically recorded in the book, which made it very convenient. Turi said he had read every page he could open, but nothing like that had appeared before. Haigi explained that he had released a bit of his knowledge to help Turi. Turi wondered about the reason, and Haiji revealed that there were 100 types of magic stone crystals in the world, and he wanted Turi to collect all of them. When Turi questioned why, Haiji replied that he trusted Turi's ability as an adventurer and also knew that Turi wished to cure his brother's illness. Haiji added that all he wanted was to see the magic stone crystals of that world, but since he was only a booker, he couldn't fight monsters himself. After meeting Turi, he believed Turi could collect the crystals for him, and in return, Turi could use his knowledge as their interests aligned. Turi remarked that it felt like making a deal with the devil, adding that there were many adventurers far stronger than him. Hagi revealed that Turi had not yet realized his true worth and was about to continue when they suddenly sensed a presence. Shocked, Turi rushed out and discovered that a giant monster was destroying the town. He wondered if it was the basilisk, the very creature that had put his brother in that state and his true enemy. Turi asked Haig whether he would still claim their interests were aligned, and when Haig agreed, Turi declared that he would claim the monster's magic stone crystal and demanded Haig's power. Haig accepted, beginning the next chapter, where he would teach Turi how to obtain the basilisk's magic stone crystal. Everyone in the town began running away from the basilisk, terrified it would kill them all. Among them, a frightened boy cried out for his mother. Just as a collapsing building was about to crush him, a man wielding a giant hammer rushed forward and saved him, assuring him that everything was fine. Moments later, the boy's mother arrived, desperately searching for her son, and thanked the man for rescuing him. The man told her to be careful and head toward higher ground, where the rescue squad would take care of her. The boy, still trembling, wondered who the man was. His mother revealed that he was Angus, the strongest adventurer in the guild, and the master of the Spears of White Rend. Meanwhile, Angus noticed that he had disturbed a trail of ants during the chaos. With a quick apology, he remarked that perhaps even they were evacuating, but urged everyone else not to worry and to leave the fight to him, declaring that he would restore peace to the city and that this was the place he had to protect. He unleashed his Black Iron Thorns attack on the monster and proclaimed that the basilisk was forbidden from entering any further. Although Angus did not know why the creature had appeared in the city, he recognized it as Neil's enemy. He was certain that Neil would eventually sever the basilisk's head. For now, Angus commanded the other adventurers to fire. They released waves of arrows imbued with power, but the basilisk's scales were so tough that none could pierce through. Angus told them not to expect victory immediately upon arrival. He explained that if they loosed 100 100 arrows and even one struck true, it would count as damage. If they fired 10,000, that damage would multiply 100-fold. In a contest of strength, they would not lose. With that, he struck at the basilisk once again. From behind, Kahar arrived, joking that their leader was still the same musclehead as always, before using weight enhancement to strike the basilisk. Soon after, Mina joined in, unleashing her Tempest arrow infused with gravity magic. Angus admitted that their efforts were not bad at all. At last, the twin aces of the Azure Flame Wings, Kahar and Mina, stood beside him. Kahar remarked that the real stars of the battle had finally appeared. Just then, Clegg arrived and hurled a bomb potion at the monster. Angus acknowledged his arrival, saying it was about time Clegg showed up. Clegg apologized and asked about the situation, to which Angus replied that he hadn't let the basilisk cross the line yet. Gower commended him, remarking that it was the kind of thing he would expect to hear from Mina, though it didn't feel like it was making much difference. Among the townsfolk, one man expressed his joy at seeing the spears of White Rend and the Azure Flame Wings, the two great forces of the city, standing together. The citizens cheered them on, wishing them success and believing their city was safe now. However, Kahar was stunned when he realized that no one was chanting his name, despite him being the master of Azure Flame. Someone even remarked that in town he was better known as the Hell. Kahar retorted that he would clear his tarnished name and urged everyone to push forward. Angus insisted that Azure Flame should not be outshone. Meanwhile, Turi noticed that the grid was shifting and decided to hurry. The doctor called out to him, asking if he could lend a hand. Shocked, Turi hesitated, but the doctor explained that he only needed to clear the rubble. Otherwise, the trapped person would die from the basilisk's poison. The words struck Turi deeply, as it was the same poison that had afflicted his brother. Determined, he rushed to help, and once the debris was removed, the doctor carried the girl out. Turi was relieved to see she was safe. The doctor explained that he could suppress the poison for now, but there was no cure in the city. Worse still, she wasn't the only one affected. Many more citizens were being poisoned. Turi realized with dread that the entire city was being consumed by the basilisk's venom. At that moment, Hige's voice echoed, asking if Turi was prepared. Turi agreed firmly, declaring that they would bring down the creature and claim its magic stone crystal. Angus urged everyone to have some fun as he struck the monster again with his black iron thorns. Kahar activated his weight enhancement. The other adventurers unleashed their Tempest arrows, and Clegg hurled a bomb potion. All of their attacks landed on the monster simultaneously. Yet, Clegg felt an ominous sense of death creeping over him. They were confused about what was happening, while Kahar realized his mana consumption had been unusually high since earlier, and wondered if Angus had been restraining something until now. The fight itself felt entirely different from their previous battle with Neil. It even seemed as though their mana was being drained away. When Angus attacked once more with the black iron thorns, he discovered that none of their strikes were actually reaching the monster. Realizing the danger, he told everyone to retreat, as a counterattack was about to come. The basilisk prepared to release a strange liquid, and just as it was about to fall on Mina, she managed to block it. However, some of it still touched her, and the others grew anxious when they recognized it as poison. Several of them were also affected. Angus thought that everyone was being poisoned, just like when the basilisk had stolen Neil's power in the past. He remembered how, back then, he had been the one meant to protect the others, and had ended up erasing Neil's future, the very hope that was supposed to carry them forward. Clegg shouted for Angus to move out of the way, but Angus stood his ground, determined to shield the others from the poison, believing that their position was outside its range. He then used vine magic to strike at the poison. Turi, using a magic crystal, cast the vine magic once more to bind the basilisk, and once it was restrained, he used a second stone to attack with flapping magic. Everyone was shocked when Turi's vines successfully repelled the poison. Clegg reminded the others that it was Turi, while Angus began to wonder if it was actually Neil. The others also whispered about it, but Mina clarified that it was not Neil, it was indeed Turi. Hige told Turi that his first task was to pin down the basilisk's body. As Turi followed the instruction, Hige praised him, but Turi replied that it was nothing extraordinary. He declared that he would not let anyone else fall victim to the poison, and that he would claim the magic stone crystal himself. Hige agreed with his resolve. Kahar wondered who had called out to Turi, noticing that the magic he used was different from his usual spells. A boy reminded him that he had already said Turi had been casting unusual spells recently. The boy was shocked to learn that Turi was actually Neil's brother and realized how much Turi had grown. Clegg approached Turi, asking why he was there. Turi replied in surprise that someone had to deal with the basilisk. But the real question was why Clegg himself was there. Clegg revealed that he was an adventurer and a member of the Spears of the White Rend. Turi was startled. That was the same guild his brother had joined. Clegg explained that he had entered the guild after Neil had become a member. Angus then patted Turi's head, calling him their ace. He asked if the vine magic was truly Turi's and praised its strength while thanking him for saving his life. He instructed Clegg to tend to those who had been poisoned and also to take care of the dog, since Angus would not protect it if it strayed outside their formation. Clegg agreed, though he was puzzled about the dog until they noticed a puppy hiding behind them. Turi glanced at Angus, realizing that even in such a serious situation, Angus was not only concerned for humans, but for the small creature as well. To him, that was the mark of the strongest adventurer in the city. Just then, the basilisk roared so loudly that the ground trembled. Angus charged forward to attack, declaring that he was counting on Turi's support. Turi was stunned to hear such words of reliance from him. At the same time, Clegg returned to assist the other adventurers, leaving everything in Turi's hands. Turi felt bewildered by what was happening. Haiji remarked that things were becoming truly exciting and teased that Turi seemed eager to provide support. Turi retorted that it was no laughing matter. If Angus managed to defeat the basilisk, he wondered what would happen to the magic stone crystal. Haij had explained earlier that extracting the magic stone crystal required a specific procedure, and only the one who could hear his voice would be able to accomplish it. He warned that if the basilisk's crystal was not obtained, everyone would eventually die from the poison. Turi realized that, in the end, the responsibility might fall on him alone. Haiji then described the second step. The basilisk's scales needed to be stripped and peeled away, which was the most crucial part at that moment. Turi wondered about the strange region around the creature, and Haiji told him to take a closer look. For some reason, the basilisk was protected by a defensive spell that deflected magical attacks. Turi questioned the nature of that barrier, and Haij explained that the restraints holding the basilisk were about to break. Soon after, the basilisk burst free. The others panicked, realizing the danger, and wondered if the treatment had been completed. Clegg responded that the healing had only been temporary, while Mina insisted that it was enough and that they could not allow the basilisk to advance further. Angus commanded everyone to unleash everything they had in a single strike. They all attacked at once, but both quickly realized their efforts were ineffective as the basilisk broke free again. Turi pointed out that it was preparing to spit poison once more, and immediately countered with flapping magic. The basilisk struck Angus, who was shocked by the sheer weight of the blow. Turi thought that both vine magic and flapping magic were barely enough to hold back its attacks, and if their magic could not pierce through the defensive spell, then peeling off its scales seemed impossible. Haige reminded him that if one spell did not work, he should use another, since the power of a magic stone crystal was not confined to a single type of magic. At that moment, Turi understood the descriptions meant there were other spells available to him. But when Turi checked the sounds of the chant, he realized it only referred to vine magic. Haiji explained that this was simply the main magic visible to him, and reminded him of what he had almost said during their contract. If all Haiji had wanted was a powerful adventurer, he would not have chosen Turi. What set Turi apart was his heart, the kind that never gave up no matter how dangerous the situation became, and his willpower, which could turn imagination into action. Haig urged him not to forget that. He said that the strongest person was not the one with the most power, but the one who could imagine the path to victory even in the face of hardship. That ability to imagine was what Turi had shown the first time he had read Haij, and it was what made him capable of doing what others could not. With that reminder, Turi opened his storage and released London's magic stone crystal. He thought that if his imagination could truly take shape through it, then perhaps he had found a new idea. Turi remembered the stomach of the Eat Plunder and used acid magic to summon its seed, launching it against the basilisk. The beast screamed in pain. Clegg was stunned, wondering how Turi had even managed to summon and eat plunder. Karen pointed out that its hard scales had melted, while Angus was delighted to see such strength in Neil's younger brother. Haiji praised Turi's cleverness for thinking of acid magic. Turi explained that the Eat Plunder was a monster that dissolved things with acid. Haiji commended his imagination and reminded him that it was the very reason he had chosen Turi as his partner. He then revealed that the third step was to cut off the basilisk's head. Turi noted that the head was extremely high. Haiji teased him, asking if he was crying now after coming so far. Turi replied that even if Haiji doubted him, he would still do it. He found a sword and thought to use it, but suddenly the blade slipped from his grip and a wave of pain struck him. Haiji asked if he had forgotten that when an adventurer obtained the slime's magic stone crystal, there had been a crucial step, never letting go of their weapon. Turi was now in a state where he could not hold a weapon. He argued that it had only applied to the slime, wondering how he was supposed to decapitate the basilisk like this. Haiji insisted that the procedure to obtain a magic stone crystal never changed. If Turi broke it, he would not gain the crystal. He urged him to hurry before the basilisk vomited poison onto him. The basilisk moved closer, and Turi panicked, realizing that his flapping magic would not reach in time. Just as the poison attack was about to land, Kahar stepped in front of him, taking the blow himself. Everyone was shocked, questioning why Kahar had done such a reckless thing. Yet Kahar, unwilling to let go of his pride, claimed he had not done it for Turi. He declared himself the guild leader of Azure Flame Wings, and only by showing his cool side could he truly embody its name. Grabbing Turi by the collar, he told him he had to win without hesitation. He scolded him for joining the guild on the reputation of his brother, relying on others before acting, and always needing help to move forward. If Turi had strength, then he should run ahead of everyone else instead of pretending to be a hero simply because of his brother's legacy. Kahar snapped that Turi should stop holding back and irritating him. The basilisk prepared to attack again, but Angus blocked the strike with his hammer. Kahar grumbled that Angus was trying to steal the glory once more. Turi, however, noticed that Kahar's condition was worsening rapidly. Angus urged the others to take Kahar away and admitted that once the scales had peeled off, the time to finish it would come. He apologized, but said the killing blow would have to wait. Turi rejected the idea, insisting that if they failed now, no one would survive. Angus lifted Kahar, calling out to Turi, wondering if Kahar's words had fired him up and made him eager for glory. Turi answered that it was not about glory. He absolutely had to finish it, otherwise Kahar would not survive. That was why he wanted everyone to leave it to him. Angus agreed, telling Turi to go on ahead, while he defended everything behind the line to the death. Turi thanked him and rushed forward. Angus commented that Kahar had trained his juniors well, but Kahar only told him to shut up. Even so, Angus knew that no matter how harshly Kahar had treated Turi, the light in Turi's eyes never dimmed. And that was exactly why he annoyed Kahar so much. One of the men wondered what Turi was thinking, as getting closer to the basilisk was nothing short of suicide. Clegg recalled that during the Eastlander fight, Turi had also done something unexpected, and he thought that perhaps Turi would find a way to win this time as well. He then asked Mina if she could cover Turi. Mina replied that if she enchanted her arrows with wind, they would be able to deflect the poison. Another man declared that they would clear the field for Turi. With that, all of the adventurers began pouring their strength into creating an opening for him. Turi told them that the neck had to be their target, and then sprinted straight toward the basilisk. A little while later, Haiji remarked that running across the back of a living creature was hardly the most creative approach. Angus, however, quickly understood Turi's aim to reach the basilisk's neck. He hurled his hammer toward Turi, shouting for him to use it as a foothold. Turi leapt off the hammer, launching himself high into the sky as everyone watched. In midair, Turi thought about how he had no weapon at hand, no offensive magic to cast, and nothing but his imagination to rely on. He drew out the crystal of the rock bird, and in that moment, a memory surfaced. He recalled a time spent cooking with Liam and Sasha. Liam had complained that the knife's edge was already dull and asked where the sharpening stone had gone. Turi had replied that Sasha said she would use it to play with, but when asked where she had put it, Sasha admitted she didn't know. Liam scolded her, saying that if she didn't return things properly, she wouldn't find them when she needed them. Turi had told them to leave it to him and asked to see the knife. With his lifestyle magic, he had sharpened the blade with skill, leaving the others astonished. They had marveled at how incredible his magic was, calling him the best in the world. Now, shaking himself from the memory, Turi realized that the magic crystal and his lifestyle spells were the very things no one else could use better than him. He infused the rockbird's crystal with the sharpening technique and manifested sharpened wings. With that, he aimed them at the basilisk's neck. Clegg wondered if Turi had managed to strike the blow. Everyone else watched closely as Haiji muttered that it was unfortunate. Turi had only managed to tear the basilisk's skin before stopping. The basilisk retaliated with a blast of poison, and Turi was stunned as it hit him head-on. His entire body felt as if it were being pierced by countless needles, and breathing became suffocating. In that agony, he finally understood what his brother had once endured, as well as what Mina and the others had faced before him. Everyone was depending on him to obtain the basilisk's crystal, and he knew he could not collapse. He told himself he had to hold on just a little longer. The head would come off any second now. Just as his strength was about to give out, he heard someone's voice asking if he was still alive. The others looked on in shock, unable to believe who had appeared. It was none other than Mina, arriving at that crucial moment to help Turi.